Hey guys, it's the Marvelous Mastermind behind the movie here, continuing MCU month. Our next movie will be The Incredible Hulk. A movie that is ironically not so incredible. In fact, it's boring and stupid, and I never want to see it again. But let's get to the plot. The film does not focus on the backstory of how Bruce Banner became the Hulk. It does give mention to that in the opening credits, which is a brilliant solution to do since they did the whole origin stories in 2003's Hulk, directed by Ang Lee. Though that film's not part of the MCU, they decided to take a different route and continue the story, but base it in the Marvel canon instead of the original Hulk. The original Hulk was not good, and this one's not good. But let's get to the plot. Bruce Banner is now living in Brazil, away from the government, who is trying to search him, capture him, mainly General Ross, played by William Hurt, and he is also in love with his daughter, played by Liv Taylor. Bruce cannot be with her, obviously, because the general is trying to obviously hunt him down and weaponize him and his alternate persona, the Hulk, which comes out only when he is super angry. Or to be specific, up 200 beats per heartbeat. One day, after Bruce Banner accidentally accidentally mixes blood into one of the sodas he's working at at his job at a factory, and after the bottle that it gets sold kills Stan Lee. I'm not even joking, it kills Stan Lee. The government finds out where he is, and now it's all a big manhunt, like in the first movie. So it's action after action as the Hulk's trying to get away while also trying to find a cure, and while also trying to keep his love with Liv Taylor. So, positives. Not too many. Two positives. I liked William Hurt's performance as General Ross. He did feel sympathetic in my eyes and not just one of those gruff and gruff military generals that you see. He actually felt like a real human being. The other part of it, Edward Norton's performance. While there was nothing really given that much to him through the writing, which I'll explain later, Edward Norton did what he could with the character of Bruce Banner and the Hulk and made it epic and made his character much more dimensional than the writing made it out to be. But those are the positives. What are the negatives? Almost everything else. Now we'll start with the least concerning negative, but still a big one in my opinion. The visual effects are shit. This is the only MCU movie which I say that, which is good and bad. Good because every other MCU movie has amazing visual effects, and bad because this is an MCU movie. At least it should have good visual effects. No, it doesn't. The Hulk looks terrible. Like, he looks like an abomination. And I just realized that pun with the abomination at the end, but no pun intended. But, yeah, he just looks like a green, gooey mess who's overly serious and angry. It just comes out as a disastrous piece of mediocrity. Next problem, the writing. As I said before, the writing does not give any dimensions to these characters. Even if William Hurt and Edward Norton are trying to do their best, it just doesn't give them any dimensions. Doesn't give the villain any dimensions or reasons. Doesn't give the love interest any dimensions or reasons or interests or whatever. Next, the direction. I don't know who the director of this film was. He was never really that great. I know who directed the original Hulk in 2003, Ang Lee, which he's a great director, but he should not have been chosen for that film, as he totally did not understand comic book films. He only understood like his own kind of work, like martial arts films or dramatic period pieces. In this film, I can't remember who the director is, but my God, he didn't do a good job. His directions, it just sounds like he's bored all the time. He's falling asleep, which is terrible. Oh yeah, that's another problem. This film is boring as fuck. This film, it's not exciting. And that's terrible. It's a Hulk movie. A Hulk movie. It should be at least exciting. You got a green monster fighting the military. How is that not exciting? Maybe because he's in like 5 scenes at most. There's that factory scene where the military first catches up with him, that college campus scene where he finally see his face, and the Harlem scene at the end. So yeah, 3 scenes with him. No other scene. Everything else is Bruce Banner, which Edward Norton does fine, but the writing doesn't give him anything to work with. Finally, the villain, Tim Robbins, and the love interest, Liv Taylor, they're horrible. The acting itself is bland and boring, but they are just horrible. Like, okay, Tim Robbins plays this military guy who gets injected with this serum and is on a quest to get the Hulk's blood in order to turn into a monster, which he eventually does, the Abomination, which Hulk fights at the end and defeats, obviously. But there's no given motivation. It's like, I want to be stronger than this guy. I want to be stronger than this guy. I'm a good military man, and I love my country, blah, 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 blah. The reason is we're focusing on General Rossmore, who should be the main villain, but he isn't. But this guy, so this guy is like sidelined, which is terrible. And Liv Taylor, she's boring as fuck, which is why she never appears in any of the other MC movies, and they just drop her as a love interest from that movie and replace her with Black Widow, which still doesn't make sense, but that's another video on another day. She's just boring, and her motivations are just clean slate. She just hates her father, loves Bruce. Simple as that. And you know, the worst crime it committed, in the comic books and television shows, the Hulk is my favorite superhero. It might sound a little odd, but he is my favorite superhero. He has great dimensions while also doing very cool stuff like smashing tanks and all that stuff. I know that sounds very testosterone-like and very male-like, but he is my favorite superhero. What? Do you want me to lie? Which is why it's terrible that they're representing him this way. He would be better off in the Avengers movies, like later, played by Mark Ruffalo. That's another video, as I said before. But here, he's just boring and, like, barely in it. So, I say skip on this film because when I first saw this movie, I didn't even know it was a part of the MCU. I didn't find out till years later it was part of the MCU. And when I found out, it's like, seriously, this film? What the fuck? But yeah, I just don't like this film. It's just plain and simple like that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Tomorrow, I'll be reviewing the sequel nobody liked and is considered one of the worst MCU movies of all time. After this movie, which was one of the worst MCU movies of all time. Incredible Hulk is one of the MCU movies. Iron Man 2 is going to be one of the worst MCU movies, I bet. Alright, this is the Marvelous Master Movie, signing out.